Okay, let me get this straight. You got a black kid that's not black enough. You got a nerdy kid that's not nerdy enough. You got a cowboy that's not tough enough in a role that's pretty much about their own lives. You got a country girl playing a French lady, and felony is okay as long as it's a friendship problem. Yeah, I guess that sums it up. Yeah. Fun with felony. Yay! Leave it to Disney to actually somehow make a fun spin on a felony kidnapping. Yeah, that's a little bit weird. And as you can see, yeah, there's Betty Sue, Betty Joe, Anastasia Boulangerie. Really? Yeah, they came up with that name. But then I can't necessarily be upset because they did come up with the Proud Family, and then they did come up with a character called La Cienega Boulevardes. Yeah, La Cienega Boulevard. That happens to be our street, people. Other than that, fun with stereotypes. Yay! Like we have enough going on in this world. But other than that, when it comes to this episode, I'm gonna be completely realistic with you. This was the weirdest episode I have ever seen in my life. You literally take Maya, who kidnapped a movie star, chained her to a pathetic excuse of a radiator that looked like a freaking toy. Then you have Katie, who is completely nonchalant and not freaked out by this. The fact that her daughter actually kidnapped somebody would actually cause a mom to go insane. I don't care if that's your best friend or not. The fact that she kidnapped somebody would have the mom freak out. But Katie, as usual, acts like an absentee mom. Acts like some. Actually, no, she acts like a freaking cousin. She acts like a cousin or that you're cool with or a babysitter, but she does not act like a mom. If I was her, I would be freaking out. I don't care if I didn't know her. I would probably like, look, we know that we're still cool. But the fact is she kidnapped a woman and they didn't even show you how. And we're supposed to be like, oh, that's fun. No, dude. Maya freaking kidnapped somebody. Honestly, that was the most nonchalant thing I've ever seen in my life. Not to mention the fact that I thought Topanga was going to blow her stack as usual, but she partially blowed her stack. But then everything mellowed out like best friends forever. And I'm going to go into that too. Look, people, it's life. You're going to have best friends going up from elementary school to high school, and then when you hit college, things change. It's happened to me multiple times with many friends that I've had. I have had other best friends that have grown apart and just drifted from me because of life. We go in different directions, we make different decisions, we have different views, and it clashes. And sometimes you split up and don't come back. It's normal. It happens. But if you're best friends and you're always going to have that connection with that person, eventually you guys will get back together. And eventually you guys will be best friends again. And honestly, in my opinion, it doesn't change. Just because if you're in different states or different countries, you guys are still best friends. And you will eventually connect when you get back together. It's not that serious. It's not that freaking crucial. Then they throw a big, ridiculous Hollywood picture into it because the main star is missing. So they're going to cast a whole bunch of other characters from a movie director that came in for career day and actually is shooting a movie that his daughter wrote. Let's be honest with you here. There is 9 times out of 10 kids who are in their teens that actually do have decent scripts for a movie. It's rare, few and far in between. I am not saying that teenagers cannot be good writers, but I have read a lot of fan fiction, and there are some teenagers that should not be writing anything, especially that girl there. Sure, she is coming up with a bunch of characters, but literally it's plagiarism. It will not ever go through, ever. Not without the permission of the people. I don't care how goofy the names are. The names are the same names as the actual people. You can't get away with that these days. You can't. It's called plagiarism. That's pretty much what it is. The entire script as a whole for this entire episode was not only completely saccharine, but extraordinarily annoying and painful to watch. It was cringeworthy. It wasn't even fun to watch, man. It just wasn't. The fact that how nonchalant Katie was on how her daughter kidnapped a movie star and chained her to a radiator, and then somehow it goes to the fact that Katie and her best friend split apart because of life. And then it comes into the fact that here comes a movie that all the guys want to be a part of and never get a part of because they're not authentic enough, even though it's them. This was a script that was all over the place. It did not have a main story. And here's the funny part. Sean and Katie just got married. Where the heck is Sean? We haven't seen Sean and Katie as a married couple since they got married. We've only seen Katie. Where's Sean? And I know somebody in the comments is going to tell me, wait for the next episode. The thing about it is that I am all about consistency. And that's what pisses me off. You're going to have this huge wedding, this big to-do wedding that's a huge turning point in Maya's life. And you're only going to have one individual there. Talking about, oh, how great Sean is. Oh, he is wonderful. Oh, he completes me. But he's not there. Come on. All I can say is that whether or not he had other reservations, whether or not Ryder Strong had other reservations, or if he got injured, I don't know. But the thing of it is, if that's going to happen, you got to find a way to plan it out. Seriously. You got to have someone that make it consistent. That just drives me nuts. Riley is Riley. As usual, she's Riley. And I'm going to be honest with you. When it comes to best friends, and Corey said this at the beginning of season 1 to Maya, when you're best friends with somebody, you don't drag them down with you. You are the one that tell your friend to sit down. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what a best friend is. Not somebody that rolls along with you just for the sake of rolling along. There has to be a point where your best friend has to tell you to sit down when you need to sit down. And what I mean by sitting down, that's my term like, look, this ain't right. You know this not right. You can go to jail for this. I'm not going to jail for you, but I love you and I don't want you to go to jail either. Sitting down, in my opinion, means having common sense. Or at least have that person be the voice of reason. That's pretty much my whole version of sitting down. And there's always have to be a best friend that will tell you to sit down when you need to. Riley is not one of those people. She will never be one of those people as long as she's on Disney. I couldn't stand this episode. I mean, I didn't hate it, but it was just all over the place. It made no sense to me. Not only the fact that you have somebody literally kidnapping somebody all in fun, and it's all about the best friend and how they're not together anymore. Please. Yes, we know that Riley and Maya are afraid they're going to split up, but eventually, come on, they nearly did that with the triangle. Come on. They were at odds with the freaking triangle. Maybe not so direct, but indirect. Well, more so with Riley than with Maya. But honestly, in my opinion, they were somewhat at odds. In my opinion, they were. But in the end, yes, you're going to have differences. You're going to grow apart. And the one thing I like about Corey was like, well, you know, if you had when Maya pretty much asked him that question, I can't remember it verbatim, but when he was like, so what happens when your best friend, when you split, you know, what happens when you and your best friend grow apart? He's like, well, I consider that to be normal. And it is normal. There are times that your best friend is not going to go along with you and you guys are going to go your separate ways. But if you are best friends and you have that connection will be reunited sooner or later. Don't know when, but whenever you guys meet up again, it always happens. I mean, that happens with my best friend. She's in Georgia. I'm here. But when I go back and when we eventually meet up, we pretty much reconnect. That's how it always is. And in my opinion, it's not going to change. But other than that, guys, my overall thoughts of this entire episode is this. This episode was so all over the place with so many weird points in the plot that just made no sense. Then they tried to fit in, like shoehorn in like a movie role. Then they tried to, I don't know, shoehorn in like best friends and friends staying together. No, you can't make a message out of this big pot of mess. You just can't. I'm sorry. I didn't enjoy this episode that much because it didn't make any sense. The consistency was way off. Not to mention the fact that there was no Sean. And they just got married. You want to see them as a married couple. You want to feel that bond between them, because unfortunately we haven't had the opportunity to see Katie and Sean court. I guess that's how you say it. They actually date. We haven't seen them date. We haven't seen them bond. We didn't see any of those things. And a year has passed by, and we had no idea. And now it probably was a little bit longer, but we didn't really have a chance to actually see Sean as a couple. Not to mention, we don't even know if Sean is living with them. It would be nice to know something. But other than that, guys, I didn't really enjoy this episode that much. It didn't make any sense to me. Everything was all over the place, and I just could not enjoy it. It was just cringeworthy. But other than that, guys, what are your thoughts about this episode? Leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know how you feel about this episode, whether you liked it or whether you didn't. Because I didn't. I really didn't. It was all over the place, and it was hard to stay focused on what was going on. But other than that, guys, I still want to hear your thoughts. Naturegirl 30 signing off. Peace out. I'm going to bed.